The chlorine-scented air hung heavy over the backyard pool like a bad hangover, the kind that sticks even after you've chugged 3 Gatorades. Laughter from the 4th of July barbecue still buzzed in my ears, cousins hollering over ribs slathered in sweet baby rays, aunts fanning themselves with paper plates, but all that faded the second Kenneth dove in. He hit the water like a goddamn meteor, arms slicing clean, his body arching in that effortless way that always made my stomach twist. I was treading water near the shallow end, pretending to splash with the kids, when he surfaced right in front of me, droplets flying off his broad shoulders like shrapnel. Our eyes locked, and for a split second, the world narrowed to the way his swim trunks rode low, soaked and clinging to every ridge and curve of him, the outline so blatant, so unapologetically there, that my breath caught like I'd been punched. I'd known Kenneth since freshman orientation at Ohio State, shared dorm rooms, late-night Taco Bell runs, and enough heartbreak over bad breakups to fill a scrapbook. But this was the first time I'd seen him like that, raw and unguarded, and it hit me harder than any hangover. "What the hell are you staring at, Josh?" His voice cut through the splash, low and teasing, that crooked grin splitting his face as he shook his head like a retriever. Water streamed down his chest, tracing paths over the faint scar from that dirt bike wipeout in high school, the one I'd helped stitch up with duct tape and prayers in his mom's garage. I blinked, heat flooding my cheeks, thank God for the red Solo cups and the bonfire glow masking it, and forced a laugh that sounded like gravel. "Nothing, man. Just wondering how you don't swallow half the pool with that cannonball." Total lie. But Kenneth just chuckled, that deep rumble that always made the girls at parties lean in closer, and swam off toward the deep end, leaving me bobbing there, heart hammering like I'd mainlined espresso. That night, as fireworks cracked open the sky over our sleepy corner of Columbus suburbs, reds and blues blooming like bruises, I couldn't shake it. We'd grown up blocks apart in this cookie-cutter neighborhood, the kind with chain-link fences and American flags flapping lazily from porches. Kenneth Ramirez, with his easy charm and that half-Mexican, half-Irish blood that gave him sun-kissed skin and freckles across his nose, had been the golden boy since Little League. Quarterback in high school, business major who somehow aced econ without cracking a book. Now slinging real estate in the city while crashing at his parents' place between deals. Straight as a ruler, or so everyone thought, dated cheerleaders, then sorority sisters. Now this girl, Emily, with her yoga-toned legs and Instagram feed full of brunch mimosas. Me, Joshua Hale, the quiet one, graphic design dropout turned freelance illustrator, scraping by on gig posters for local bands and the occasional logo for the neighborhood hardware store. Gay since I could remember, but buried so deep it felt like a fossil in my chest. We'd been best friends for a decade, the kind where he'd drag me to straight bars and I'd bail him out of bar fights, no questions asked. Brothers before. Well, everything. But as the last rocket fizzled out and folks stumbled home to minivans, Kenneth slung an arm around my shoulders, beer-buzzed and oblivious. "Hey, you good? Looked like you saw a ghost in there." His breath was warm against my ear, smelling of Bud Light and charcoal, and I swear my knees buckled. "Yeah, just the usual family circus." I shrugged him off gently, grabbing a towel from the lounge chair. The pool lights cast eerie blue shadows, turning his wet hair into spikes of midnight. We toweled off in silence for a beat, the crickets chirping like they knew something we didn't. Then he said it, casual as flipping a burger. "M's talking marriage." Like, for real. Ring shopping next weekend. The words landed like a gut punch, stealing the air from my lungs. Marriage. To her. The girl who'd once texted me for advice on surprising him, as if I were some neutral Switzerland in their rom-com. I forced a grin, clapping him on the back. Too hard, maybe, because he winced. That's awesome, Ken. You deserve it. She's perfect. He nodded, but his eyes lingered on mine a second too long. Something flickering there I couldn't name. Doubt? Or just the beer? Yeah. Perfect. Then he pulled me into one of those bro hugs. His damp chest pressing against mine for a heartbeat longer than usual, and whispered, "Thanks, man. Couldn't do this without you." I pulled away first, muttering about needing another drink, and bolted inside to the kitchen where the fridge hummed like white noise for my unraveling thoughts. That hug haunted me through the cleanup, through the drive home in my beat-up Civic with the radio static on some classic rock station crooning Springsteen about glory days we'd never had. By the time I crashed onto my futon in the one-bedroom apartment above the laundromat, walls thin enough to hear Mrs. Kowalski's spin cycle every Tuesday, I was replaying it all. The pool, the cling of fabric, the weight of his arm. It wasn't just attraction. It was a crack in the foundation, a fissure letting in light I wasn't ready for. I dated guys in college, furtive hookups in dorm bathrooms or quick coffees that fizzled into nothing, always with one eye on the door in case Kenneth texted for a pickup. He'd never known, and I'd die before letting him. He was straight. My straight best friend. End of story. But stories have a way of rewriting themselves, especially in the dead of a Midwest summer when the heat lightning dances without rain, teasing you with storms that never break. 2 weeks later, Emily's bachelorette loomed. Some Vegas weekend she was hyping on Snapchat, and Kenneth showed up at my door unannounced, six-pack in hand, looking like he'd lost a fight with a lawnmower. His hair was a mess, eyes bloodshot, flannel untucked over jeans that had seen better days. "Em's pissed," he said, dropping onto my couch without preamble, cracking a beer and handing me one. The foam hissed like a confession. "Found some texts. From that girl in accounting. Nothing happened. Swear to God. But she's flipping out." I sank beside him, the cushions dipping under our weight, close enough to smell his soap. Irish Spring. Same as always. "Shit, Ken. What did you say?" He rubbed his face, elbows on knees, the picture of a man unraveling. Told her it was nothing. But she's right, I've been distant. Work's killing me, and he trailed off, staring at the coffee table scarred from too many late nights. And I keep thinking about us. You know, back when shit was simple. The word hung there, heavy as humidity. I took a swig, the cold biting my throat. Simple's overrated. You've got a good thing. Fix it. He turned then, really turned, his knee brushing mine in the dim lamplight. What if I don't want to fix it? His voice was rough, like sandpaper on wood, and before I could process, his hand was on my thigh firm, testing. My beer slipped, clattering to the floor in a sticky puddle, and time fractured. We didn't speak. Didn't need to. His mouth crashed into mine like that pool dive. Fierce, inevitable, tasting of hops and desperation. My hands fisted in his shirt, pulling him closer, the world tilting as years of buried want ignited. He groaned into the kiss, low and primal, his fingers tangling in my hair, and for those endless minutes, Nothing else existed. Not Emily. Not the neighborhood whispers. Not the straight label we'd both worn like armor. Just us, tangled on that sagging couch, breaths sinking in the quiet. When we broke apart, gasping, his forehead pressed to mine. Josh. Fuck. What are we doing? I didn't have an answer. Only the pounding of my heart, and the terrifying certainty that whatever came next would change everything. The days blurred after that kiss, a haze of stolen moments and guilty glances. Kenneth threw himself into work, showing houses in Dublin suburbs to young couples dreaming of white picket fences, while I buried in deadlines mock-ups for a craft beer label that tasted like regret. We'd text late, innocuous stuff, memes about bad clients, but laced with subtext only we could read. Miss hanging, he'd send at 2 a.m., and I'd reply with a thumbs up, fingers hovering over the unsent me too. Come over. Emily's trip came and went in a flurry of filtered selfies, slot machines and showgirls, and Kenneth called me from her empty apartment, voice echoing off bare walls. She's gone 4 days. Feels like forever. We met at the dive bar on High Street, the one with the sticky floors and jukebox full of Tom Petty, nursing whiskeys in a corner booth where the neon buzzed like nerves. Tell me this is crazy, he said, swirling ice in his glass, eyes fixed on the scarred tabletop. The bar's AC hummed, fighting the July swelter outside, but sweat beaded on his neck anyway. It is, I admitted, my own drink untouched. You're straight, Ken. Engaged. This us, it's a grenade with the pin half pulled. He laughed, bitter and sharp. Straight? Yeah, that's what they all say. He leaned in, voice dropping. But you've always seen me. Really seen me. Em's great, but it's like living in a highlight reel. With you, it's the outtakes. The real shit. My chest tightened, a mix of elation and dread. And what happens when the reel ends? When she comes back and wants that ring? He didn't answer, just flagged the bartender for another round. We stumbled out at closing, the streetlights pooling gold on pavement cracked from too many winters, and ended up at my place again. This time, it wasn't just a kiss. Clothes hit the floor in a frantic trail. His flannel, my tee, jeans kicked aside like yesterday's news. His body was everything the pool had promised. Solid, warm, the faint stubble on his chest rasping against my skin as we moved together on the rumpled sheets. He was tentative at first, hands exploring like he was mapping unfamiliar terrain. But then something shifted, hunger overtaking hesitation, and it was fire, consuming, his whispers in the dark a litany of my name like prayer. After, lying spent and tangled, his head on my chest, he murmured, I love you, Josh. Always have, I think. The words cracked me open, tears pricking hot. Love. From him. The straight boy who'd high-fived me through every milestone. But dawn brought clarity's cruel edge. Emily texted him at 6 a.m., landed safe. Can't wait to see you. Love you. He stared at the screen, thumb frozen, then dressed in silence, kissing my temple before slipping out like a ghost. That afternoon, he called it off. Not with me, with her. Over coffee at a Perkins, the kind with bottomless pots and pie under glass sneeze guards, he slid the ring box across the formica. I can't do this, he told her, voice steady but eyes haunted. She cried, called him every name from asshole to heartless, stormed out, leaving syrup-sticky napkins in her wake. By evening, he was at my door again, broken but free, collapsing into my arms with a sob that shook us both. For a week, it was bliss wrapped in borrowed time. Lazy mornings with diner hash browns, afternoons sketching in the park while he napped on my shoulder, nights where we'd drive aimless loops on I-270, windows down, radio blasting Springsteen anthems about working-class dreams. He came out to his folks over backyard burgers. His dad, a burly GM retiree, clapped him on the back with a gruff, "Love's love, son," while his mom hugged him tight, whispering Spanish prayers. Mine, they suspected, had for years, but the official "I'm gay and in love with my best friend" over pot roast earned nods and, "As long as you're happy." Me, Joe. Wait. No. That was his mom's line. Mine just said, "Pass the gravy." Ohio stoicism at its finest. But cracks formed, subtle as hairlines in glass. Whispers at the barber shop where Kenneth got his fades. Side eyes from old teammates at the gym. And then Joshua, "Wait. No. That's me. Wait. The other Joshua. No. Just us." But Emily didn't fade quietly. She started showing up at his open houses, all smiles and just checking listings, but her eyes sharp as tacks. One night, after a double feature at the drive-in, some rom-com irony we laughed through, she cornered him in the gravel lot, voice shrill under the sodium lights. "You're throwing us away for him? Your fag best friend." He shoved her back, gentle but firm. "Don't. Just go." She did, but not before snapping a photo on her phone, the flash blinding as fireflies. I saw it the next day, forwarded in a group chat from mutuals. Us, kissing in the park, blurry but unmistakable. The backlash hit like a nor'easter. Texts from cousins. WTF? Josh. Blocks from high school buddies. A voicemail from his ex-coach calling it a phase. Snap out of it. Kenneth raged, smashing a mug in my sink. Shards scattering like confetti from hell. "They don't get it. It's you and me against this shit." But doubt crept in. A thief in the night. Late shifts at his job stretched longer. Networking dinners with clients who asked too many questions about his personal life. I caught him staring at his phone, thumb scrolling old photos of Emily, smiling, uncomplicated. "Just memories," he'd say, but his eyes said otherwise. The storm broke on a humid August evening, thunder rumbling distant like a warning. We'd planned a quiet night, pizza from Mama's, a six-pack, maybe binge some Netflix. But he came home late, tie askew, lipstick on his collar faint as a bruise. "Client thing," he muttered, heading straight for the shower. I waited, heart a drum solo, until the water shut off. He emerged in boxers, towel around his neck, and I held up the collar. "Whose?" His face crumpled. "Josh." "It's not." "Emily?" The name tasted like ash. He sank onto the bed, head in hands. "She showed up at the office. Cornered me in the break room. Said she missed me, that we could work through it if I just ended this. With you." His voice broke. I told her no. But she kissed me. I pushed her away, swear. But it happened. Betrayal, sharp as a switchblade. Not full infidelity, but the seed of it, the what-if that bloomed in his hesitation. "You let her," I whispered, backing away. "After everything." "I love you," he shouted, standing, water dripping from his hair. More than her. More than love. I laughed. Hollow. This isn't love, Ken. It's a detour. A straight guy's experiment before he picks the safe road. He flinched like I'd slapped him. That's not fair. Neither is this. I grabbed my keys, storming out into the drizzle that had finally arrived. Tires hydroplaning on slick streets as I drove nowhere, anywhere but there. The rain came down in sheets that night, turning Columbus into a watercolor smear of taillights and blurred billboards. I ended up at the Scioto River Trail, the one we jogged 100 times. Pavement cracked, willows weeping over the bank like they mourned for fools like me. Parked crooked in the lot, engine ticking cool. I sat there with the wipers slapping rhythm like a metronome to my misery. My phone lit up. Kenneth. 10 missed calls. Texts stacking like accusations. Come home. Please. I fucked up. But it's you. Don't do this. Home. What a joke. My apartment was a rental with peeling linoleum and a landlord who collected checks late. His folks' place was mortgaged to the hilt on dreams of retirement in Florida. Our home was borrowed space in each other's lives, a fragile bubble we'd poked holes in ourselves. I powered off the phone, tossed it in the glove box, and stepped out into the downpour. Water soaked my hoodie instantly, cold seeping to the bone. But I welcomed it, punishment for seeing what I'd seen, feeling what I'd felt. The trail was deserted, puddles mirroring sodium lamps in fractured gold. I walked until my sneakers squelched, mind replaying the betrayal in loops, her lips on his collar, his pause before denial. Was it the photo that tipped her? Revenge porn light, splashed across suburbia like gossip rag fodder? Or had he sought her out? That straight itch flaring under gayskin guilt? I'd known from the start hookups in college. The ones I'd hidden like contraband, but with Kenneth, felt different. Real. Now it curdled, souring into something I couldn't swallow. Hours passed. Or maybe minutes. Time blurs in monsoons. Headlights pierced the gloom. A pickup rumbling into the lot. Tires crunching gravel. Kenneth. Of course. He killed the engine, door slamming like thunder, and jogged toward me, flannel dark with rain, hair plastered like a kicked puppy. Josh, Jesus. I've been. Go back. My voice cracked, swallowed by the roar. To her. To normal. He grabbed my arm, spinning me to face him, grip iron but eyes pleading. There is no normal without you. That kiss? It was nothing. A reflex. But this? He gestured wildly between us, rain flying off his hands. This is everything. I chose you. Over her. Over them. Over easy. I yanked free, chest heaving. Chose? You hesitated. Let her mark you like territory. The words spilled. Venomous. What if next time it's not a kiss? What if the world stares win? And you wake up missing the white dress? The 2.5 kids. His face twisted. Pain raw as road rash. You think that's what I want? Some Brady Bunch bullshit. He stepped closer, voice rising over the gale. I grew up on that crap. Dad preaching man up. Mom serving tacos on Sundays like clockwork. Straight, successful, settled. But you made me question it all. That night on your couch, it wasn't some drunk mistake. It was waking up. Thunder boomed. Close now. Lightning forking the sky like veins. I wanted to believe him. God, I did wanted to fold into that chest. Let his heartbeat drown the doubt. but betrayal's a slow poison, and mine was spreading. Prove it, I challenged, voice barely audible. Tell the world. Not just your folks. Post that photo yourself. Own it. He froze, rain carving rivers down his cheeks. Josh, say it. Or admit I'm the detour. Silence, broken only by the storm's fury. Then, quiet as defeat, I can't. Not yet. The job, the deals. It'll tank everything. There it was, the fracture widening to chasm. I turned, walking away, his pleas fading behind me like echoes in a canyon. Wait, please, but I didn't. Drove home through flooded streets, the river rising like my resolve, and crashed into bed still damp, dreams fractured with pool splashes and lipstick stains. Morning brought hangover haze without the booze, head throbbing, sheets twisted like accusations. Kenneth's truck was in the lot when I peeked through blinds, but he was gone. A note taped to my door. Coffee at 8? We talk. No running. Scrawled in his blocky print. Underlined twice. I showered hot, scalding away the chill, and met him at the corner Starbucks. The one with overpriced lattes and baristas who mispronounced names. He looked wrecked, stubble shadowing his jaw, eyes puffy, but slid a venti Americano my way. Black, just how I liked. I didn't sleep, he started, stirring sugar he never took. Kept replaying it. You're right, I hesitated. But not because I want her. Because I'm scared. Of losing you to this mess. The shop buzzed around us. Moms with strollers. Tech bros tapping laptops. Oblivious to our private apocalypse. Scared's fine, I said, sipping bitter. Hiding's not. That photo's out there. Can people know? He nodded, slow. Saw the shares. Coach called, said he'd pray for me, like it's cancer. Bitter laugh. But fuck him. I meant what I said. I love you. The words again. Weapon and bomb. I reached across the table, lacing fingers with his, calloused from hauling signs, warm despite the AC. Then fight for it. With me. We did. In fits and starts. That week, he posted a simple Insta story. Us at the drive-in. Arms around shoulders. Caption my person. Love wins. Hashtags felt trite. But the flood of hearts from unexpected corners. His cousin in Cali, a high school teacher who'd always suspected, eased the knot in my gut. Emily went radio silent. Then full scorched earth. Unfriended everyone. Moved to her sisters in Akron. Rumors swirling she'd found God, or just a rebound. But peace was fleeting. Work soured for him. Clients canceling viewings. A big investor pulling out with a curt family values email. He came home one night. My place now ours. Boxes half unpacked in the hall. Slamming the door hard enough to rattle the mugs. Lost the Henderson deal. They saw the post. Said it didn't align. I pulled him down on the couch. His head in my lap. Stroking that messy hair. Their loss. We'll figure it. We. He looked up. Vulnerable. You mean that. Always. And I did. We pivoted, him dipping into freelance flipping. Me landing a gig designing for a queer-owned apparel line in Short North. Nights. We'd cook, his mom's enchiladas, my half-assed stir-fry, laughing over spilled sauce, bodies sinking easy as breath. Sex evolved too, from frantic to tender, mapping scars and sighs like sacred text. Fall crept in, Leaves turning fire orange along the Olentangy. Crisp air promising change. We road-tripped to Hocking Hills, hiking trails where moss clung to rocks like hope to stone, camping under stars that felt infinite. Around the fire, embers popping, he carved our initials in a log, JR plus KH. Cheesy as hell, and I kissed him slow, tasting smoke and forever. But betrayal's shadow lingered, a ghost in the machine. One crisp October morning, my phone pinged, a DM from an unknown. Ask your boy about the bar last Friday. Attached, a grainy pic. Kenneth in a booth at Docks. Emily across from him, her hand on his arm, his smile too wide. Heart plummeting, I confronted him that night, photo thrust under the kitchen light. What the fuck, Ken? His face drained white. It's not shit. She texted. Said she wanted closure. I went to end it clean. With drinks, her hand on you, voice rising. I paced the linoleum. This is the second time. He reached for me, desperate. I swear, nothing happened. Told her we're done. Blocked her. Please, Josh. Blocked? After Vegas? After the collar? The dam broke. Tears hot. I can't keep waiting for the other shoe. Or her. He dropped to his knees, gripping my waist. Don't. I need you. This is real. But doubt whispered louder than please. I slept on the couch that night, his snores from the bedroom a dirge. And by dawn, I packed a duffel essentials, sketches, the mixtape he'd made on cassette for irony. Space, I said at the door, his eyes shattered glass. Till you figure out if I'm home or detour. He nodded, mute, and I left for my folks, the basement guest room with its musty quilt and ghosts of teenage angst. Days bled into weeks. Me grinding freelance in coffee shops, dodging mutuals' pity texts, him blowing up my phone with voicemails raw as open wounds. I fixed it. Therapy. Coming out group at the center. Emily's gone, restraining order. Even. Come back. Please. Thanksgiving loomed. Turkey ads mocking from TV screens. An isolation gnawed. A call from his mom, warm, accented, begged me over. He's a mess. Mijo. Family dinner. For old times. I went, stealing for war. The house smelled of sage and simmering gravy. Siblings bickering over football on the set. Kenneth hovered in the kitchen. Apron dusted flour. Eyes lighting when I walked in. You came. Turkey, I muttered, but softened under his mom's hug. Dinner was tense at first. Awkward silences cut by his dad's toasts to new beginnings. But wine flowed, loosening tongues. Kenneth's hand found mine under the table, thumb tracing circles, and I didn't pull away. After pie, we stepped out back, porch light haloing the chill, leaves crunching underfoot. I went dark, he said, breath fogging. No bars, no her. Just work and missing you. Therapy's kicking my ass. Unpacking dad's macho bullshit. My own fears. But I'm out. All the way. Proof. A fresh tattoo on his forearm. Small pride flag inked subtle. Still red. For us, he said. Voice thick. I traced it. Skin warm. Missed you too. The kiss was salt and sweet. Reconciliation under November stars. We tumbled back to my folks that night. Awkward explanations over cocoa, and woke to second chances. Winter wrapped us gentle. Snow blanketing the city in hush. Holidays strung with lights. Christmas Eve. He proposed not ring, but a keychain with my apartment key, dangling from a silver buckle. Move in. For real? I said yes, tears freezing on lashes as we shoveled the drive, laughing at our breath cloud dragons. But spring thawed more than ice. Emily resurfaced, not direct, but through channels. Anonymous posts on local Facebook groups, twisting our story into homewrecker screeds. Clients whispered, gigs dried. One April afternoon, Kenneth stormed home early, face thunder. Fired. Boss said, distraction, code for us. We fought then, not fists, but words like hail. Me accusing denial, him raging at fate. This is America, Josh, land of the free, except when you're us. The climax crested that night. Storm sirens wailing as tornadoes spun east. Power out, candles flickering. We screamed truths in the dark. His fear of failure, my terror of loss. I can't lose you to this hate, he yelled, shoving a chair that toppled with a crash. Then don't, I shouted back, grabbing his shirt. Fight with me, not against. He deflated, pulling me close, sobs racking us both. I'm trying. God, I'm trying. In the aftermath, twigs littering lawns, sky bruised, we rebuilt. He pivoted to a startup, queer-friendly realty app. I scored a book cover deal for a coming-out memoir. Pride Month dawned, rainbows waving from porches that once side-eyed. Yet betrayal's echo lingered, a scar. One humid June eve, hiking the gorge again, he stopped mid-trail, backpack slung low. Marry me. For real. Vegas. Courthouse, your call. Heart full. I nodded. Yes. Summer swelled again. Heat waves shimmering off asphalt like mirages of last year's sins. Our engagement wasn't fireworks and champagne. It was quiet, forged in the quiet forge of survival. A shared Google Calendar for therapy sessions, his hand in mine at grocery runs where cashiers no longer stared. We picked rings online, simple bands of tungsten etched with coordinates of that pool party backyard. A nod to the spark. From stunned to forever, he joked over takeout lo mein, chopsticks clinking like toasts. But peace is a jealous lover, demanding vigilance. Emily's shadow stretched longer now, tendrils via her new boyfriend, a cop with a mustache like a 70s villain and a grudge to match. Whispers at the farmer's market. Heard she's pressing charges. Harassment. Charges? For what? Existing. Kenneth laughed it off at first, but tension coiled in his shoulders. A spring wound tight during our runs along the river, where joggers nodded less warmly. I buried it in work. My portfolio blooming with commissions, posters for the Pride Fest, murals for a Clintonville cafe that celebrated all flavors of love. Kenneth dove into the app, cold calling investors with pitches laced in authenticity. Real estate for real people. No closets required. Rejection stung. But wins trickled. A seed round from a VC in San Fran who'd been there. July 4th rolled around again. Anniversary of the dive that started it all. We hosted our own bash, small, safe, his siblings with their partners, my folks grilling veggie burgers, a playlist of queer anthems thumping from Bluetooth speakers. The pool? Drained for Reno, but we set up cornhole in the yard, beers sweating in koozies printed with inside jokes. Laughter flowed freer, toast sloppier, and as dusk painted the sky bruise purple, Kenneth pulled me aside behind the garage, fireflies winking like conspirators. Remember that stare? He murmured. Hands on my hips, breath minty from gum. Thought you were checking my form, I snorted, nipping his earlobe. Your form was criminal. Still is. He grinned, that crooked flash, and kissed me deep, slow burn, no rush, while whoops from the yard faded to white noise. Love you, he whispered against my lips. Every stunned second. Later, buzzed on IPAs and nostalgia, we snuck inside for refills, ending up against the fridge, hands wandering until his mom hollered for pie. Flushed and giggling, we rejoined the chaos, plates piled with berry crumble, stories spinning of our meet-cute pool edition, sanitized for ants. But idols crack under pressure. Mid-August, the bomb dropped, a certified letter, crisp as judgment, from Emily's lawyer. Slander suit, claiming Kenneth's public defamation via social posts had cost her job, her sanity. Emotional distress, it read, demanding settlement or court. We read it at the kitchen table, coffee going cold, his face paling to ash. This is bullshit, I spat, crumpling the edge. Countersue. Harassment. He shook his head, rubbing temples. Can't. It'll drag us through mud. Trials, depositions, our lives on display for some judge in a robe. Then settle. The words tasted defeat. Make it go away. His eyes met mine. Stormy. And let her win? Prove we're the villains. We argued for days, me pushing pragmatism, him clinging to principle, tension fraying threads we'd mended. Nights cooled to separate sides of the bed, his back a wall I couldn't scale. It's not about her, he'd mutter into pillow. It's us. Standing tall, standing broke, I'd counter, staring at ceilings cracked like resolve. The climax brewed slow, erupting on Labor Day weekend at a block party. Bouncy houses sagging in heat, kids shrieking over hot dogs, American flags limp on poles. Emily showed, arm in arm with the cop, her smile plastic as Tupperware. She beelined for us at the picnic tables, voice honeyed venom, congrats on the engagement. Such a bold choice. Kenneth stiffened beside me, burger forgotten. Emily. Didn't expect. Community event, she chirped. Cop boyfriend looming like a storm cloud. Open to all. Even homewreckers. I gripped my plate, knuckles white. Walk away. We're done. She laughed. Sharp. Oh, honey, the suit says otherwise. But hey, if you settle quiet, maybe I drop it. For old times, Kenneth surged up, chair scraping gravel. Blackmail? That's low. Even for you. Cop stepped forward, hand on belt. Watch it. Ramirez. Assaulting an officer's girl? Bad precedent. The yard hushed, eyes on us like spotlights. My pulse thundered fight or flight, but rooted by love's stubborn weight. Enough, I said, standing, voice steady. Sue if you want. We'll fight. But harass us again, we'll press our own charges. Stalking, threats, it's all documented. Emily's facade cracked, eyes flashing. You think you can play victim? You're the ones who blew up my life. And you blew up his. Kenneth shot back, arm around my waist, solid, unyielding. I chose love. You chose spite. Live with it. The cop tugged her away, muttering about crazy exes, and the party exhaled, chatter resuming like aftershocks. But the damage rippled. Neighbors whispering. A kid asking his mom why those guys fought the pretty lady. We left early. Drive home silent save for AC hum. Tension thick as fog. At the apartment, it boiled over. You escalated, he accused, tossing keys on counter with a clatter. Now it's war. I protected us, I yelled, pacing. Hiding gets us nowhere. Look at the suit, he whirled, face inches from mine. Protected or controlled? You decide for both. Like I'm the weak link, the slap of truth stung. Because you freeze. Every crisis, her kiss. The job, you hesitate. And I clean up, he recoiled, hurt blooming red. Hesitate? I've quit everything for you. Job? Her? My goddamn facade. And regret it? The question hung. Poisoned arrow. Silence. Deafening. Then, broken. Some days. Yeah. Wonder if we'd be happier straight-washed. The room spun. Betrayal's blade twisting deep. Get out, I whispered, sliding down the wall, knees buckling. If I'm the regret, he knelt, tears carving tracks. No. God, no. You're the best. The fight. It's the world. Not you. We clung there, sobs sinking on linoleum cool as regret, storming through apologies till dawn. I'm sorry, he breathed, forehead to mine. For the doubt. For dragging you into this. Forgiven? I murmured. Because love's a stubborn weed, thriving in cracks. But no more secrets. We face it together, lawyers, protests, whatever. He nodded, sealing with a kiss salt sour. Morning brought coffee and calls. A queer legal aid org, fierce as Valkyries, taking the case pro bono. Dismissal likely, they said. Frivolous suit. Clear retaliation. Emily folded weeks later, letter of retraction. No apology, just silence. Victory tasted bittersweet, scarred with what-ifs. Fall deepened, leaves carpeting streets in rust. And we planned the wedding. Small, courthouse with a reception at the riverfront. Invites to allies only. But humanism whispers in quiet hours. Growth from grit. Kenneth volunteered at the center now, mentoring closeted kids with stories of pool dives and hard choices. I illustrated a zine, Stunned, a gay Ohio love story, raw sketches of us, words weaving pain to poetry. Sales funded a honeymoon fund. Strangers emailing thanks. Your story gave me courage. Winter solstice. Snow dusting evergreens. We exchanged vows under mistletoe strung in the hall. His in Spanish lilted English. Mine choked with memory. From stunned to shocked to saved, he said. Ring sliding home. The reception hummed. Tamales from his aunt. My dad's awkward toast to brave hearts. As snow swirled outside. We danced slow to Thunder Road. Bodies flush. World fading to just us. Yet spring unearthed one last ghost. Package arrived. Anonymous. Brown-wrapped. Emily's old engagement ring. Note inside. Keep it. Or pawn it. Either way, I'm done. No malice. Just closure. Her handwriting steady. Kenneth held it to light. Facets catching fire. What now? I took it. Pocketing. Donate. To the center. Turn hurt to help. He smiled. Real and radiant. Humanist as fuck. Summer circled back. Pool reopened with a party of our own. Rainbow floats bobbing. Laughter unchained. As he dove in, resurfacing grinning, I joined him, water-cool embrace. No stares, no shocks, just love, American as apple pie with a twist. But life layers deeper. One lazy afternoon, lounging poolside with books and brews, a kid from the neighborhood, 10, freckled, wandered over, eyes wide. Are you guys, like, married? Kenneth ruffled his hair. Yup. Happily. Cool, the boy said. No flinch. My dads are too. Can I swim? We nodded, watching him cannonball in, splash arcing joy. In that ripple, the future gleamed, human, flawed, fierce. Autumn's palette bled into our first married year, golds and crimsons framing windows as we settled into rhythm. A two-bedroom craftsman in German village, cobblestone streets whispering history, mortgage our boldest bet yet. Mornings started with his coffee grinder whirring at 6 a.m. My groan from under quilts. Evenings ended with takeout on the porch swing. Feet tangled, debating podcasts on queer icons from Baldwin to Brandon. The app launched beta. Queer agents connecting clients to affirming neighborhoods, bugs and all, but users trickled in. Stories shared in beta forums. Finally, a realtor who gets it. Betrayal scar faded to silver. A reminder etched in therapy marathons, weekly check-ins where we'd unpack triggers over chamomile. His hand steady in mine. You're my anchor, he'd say. Post-session. Kissing knuckles bruised by life's punches. Emily vanished into rumor. Married the cop. Relocated to Dayton. Pursued a footnote in legal aid lore. But conflict brews in calm seas. November brought Kenneth's 30th, landmark laced with existential static. He woke pensive, staring at ceiling fans spinning lazy. Halfway to dead, he quipped over pancakes, but eyes distant. The party we threw, rooftop bar in Short North. Skyline twinkling like promise. Buzzed electric. Drag queens lip-syncing Gaga. Shots of patron flowing. Toasts to the hottest by icon I know. Wait. By? He'd floated it in sessions. Labels loosening like old sneakers. Not straight. Not gay, just Ken. He clarified later. Buzzed and bold. I kissed him fierce amid cheers. Heart swelling at his unburdening. Yet dawn after brought crash. Hangover haze. Regrets bubbling. Did I out you too soon? He fretted. Nursing Gatorade on the couch. Our cat, adopted stray named Splash, curled oblivious. Nah, I said, sketching idly, pencil scratching affirmations. It's you. Authentic. He pulled me close, but tension hummed, a new undercurrent, subtle as seismic rumbles. December deepened the rift. A job offer landed in his inbox, head of sales for a national chain, remote but requiring quarterly travel to HQ in Dallas. Bible Belt Central, he joked, but salary triple hours. We could pay down the house. Travel. Bali. Maybe. Excitement ward caution. And the app? Your baby. Delegate, he said. Eyes alight. Grow bigger. I nodded, but unease stirred distance. The old foe. He took it. First trip New Year's. Airport kiss lingering. His promise FaceTimes every night whispered against lips. The hotel suite beamed via video. Sterile luxury, but his smile strained. Background chatter of suits with southern drawls. Back home, he dove in, commissions rolling, but late calls bleeding into dinners. Exhaustion carving hollows under eyes. They're intense, he'd say, loosening tie. Old school. Jokes about family men. I laugh it off. but laughter hollowed. One March evening, post-call, he snapped at Splash for knocking a mug. China shattering. Cat bolting under couch. Fuck, the word echoed. Unkenneth. I knelt, shards in hand. Rough day, he deflated, joining me on floor, back to cabinets. They asked about kids. When you settling down proper? Like we're playing house. And, heart in throat. Told them we're good. But it got me thinking. Pause. Heavy. You ever want that? Bio. Adoption. Passing on the Ramirez-Hale legacy. The question blindsided. Broom paused mid-sweep. Kids. We'd skirted it vague someday in wedding talks, but now, concrete. Yeah, I admitted. Dustpan filling. But not if it breaks us. He nodded. But seed planted. Doubt's cousin. Spring bloomed fraught. Cherry blossoms dusting walks. But our talks turned thorny. Therapy unearthed it. His fear of wasting time. Clock ticking louder at 30. What if I'm the detour for you? He voiced, mirroring my old wound. Younger. Artsy. Could have anyone. I laughed. Pained. Detour? You're the destination. Idiot. But words landed soft. Insecurities fog thick. The betrayal brewed subtle. A conference in Austin. Networking must. He flew out. Texts daily, emojis. Miss US but gaps yawned. Silences stretching. Night 3. A call cut short. Gotta go. Client dinner. Background laughter. Feminine lilt. Jealousy nod. Irrational but insistent. I paced our kitchen. Phone clutched. Imagining Texas twang and easy straights. Fourth night. No call. Fifth. A voicemail at 2 a.m. Sorry, babe. Late. Love you. Slurred edge. He landed haggard. Beard unkempt. Suitcase wheeling heavy. What happened? I demanded, blocking the hall. Nothing. Defensive flare. Drinks ran long. Team building. With who? The client from the laugh track. His jaw tightened. Jealous? After everything. Trust goes both ways. Voice cracking. You vanish. I imagine Emily 2.0, cowgirl boots and regret. He dropped the bag. Stepping close. Too close. Anger electric. That's unfair. I'm grinding for us. For us? Or escape? The accusation slipped. Venom. He recoiled. Eyes flashing hurt. Escape? From what? Our perfect little queer bubble. Sarcasm dripped. Maybe I do need air. Dallas felt. Normal. The word gutted. Normal. Code for straight. Safe. Sans scrutiny. So go. I whispered, stepping aside. Be normal. He didn't move. Conflict raging visible. Fists clenched. Chest heaving. Fuck this. Grabbed the bag. Stormed to bedroom. Door slamming echo. I slept on couch again. Splash my cold comfort. Dreams turbulent as twisters. Morning brought quiet war. Coffee brewed silent. His travel mug filled but untouched. I'm sorry, he said finally. At the door. Didn't mean it. Dallas's work. Not want. I nodded. Mute. Watching taillights fade. Days dragged. Me sketching feverishly. Lines jagged as nerves. Him traveling more. Calls clipped. Texts piled, mine pleading. His evasive. Busy. Talk soon. The climax crested mid-May. Derby weekend vibe in the air despite no horses. He returned from final pitch, face ashen, envelope in hand. Promotion, he said, flat. Relocation optional. But encouraged. Optional. The word dangled like bait. And you want it. He sank to table, envelope crumpling. It's stability. Big city. Queer scene better for kids. If. Kids. Echo hollow. Not us. We are us. Frustration boiled. But life's not frozen at 28. I want legacy. With you. Or without. The photo I'd found. Slipped from his wallet. A bar selfie with a colleague. Arm around her waist. His grin wide burned in my mind. Snapped it on his phone during call. Innocent team pic. But now, poison. I thrust the printout screenshot from his Insta story. Overlooked. This team building? His eyes widened. Josh. Delete. Deny. Same script. Tears hot. I'm tired, Ken. Of fighting your doubts. He stood, reaching. It's nothing. Colleague, married, straight. But yeah, felt easy. No stairs, no suits. Just normal. There, confessed. Betrayal not flesh, but flight. Go. Then, I said, voice steel. Chase normal. I'll find mine. He froze, anguish carving deep. Don't make me choose. You already did. Door opened. Metaphor literal. He left. Bag in tow. Truck rumbling away into twilight. Weeks blurred to fog. Divorce papers undrafted but looming. My folks hosting silent suppers. His mom calling tearful Spanglish please. He loves you. Mijo. Stubborn like his father. I sketched our story's end. Docks at dusk. Figures parting. Catharsis in charcoal. June pride pulsed citywide. Rainbows defiant. I marched alone first. Sign reading love without limits. Crowds chant booing. Then, midway through High Street crush, a hand tapped shoulder. Kenneth. Rainbow bandana askew. Eyes red-rimmed. Missed you, he said. Simple. Missed this. Gesture encompassing roar. We walked. Silence sink. Till a float's bass thumped born this way. He stopped, pulling me to alley shadow. I turned it down. Dallas. The normal. Because it's bullshit without you. Heart stuttered. And kids? Legacy? He smiled. Soft. Ours. Foster. Adopt whatever. But first. Therapy double time. No more flights. I searched his face, vulnerable. Home. Prove it. He kissed me then. Amid parade din deep. Anchoring. Crowd whooping oblivious. Every day, we rejoined the march. Hands clasped. Steps aligned. Human triumph. Not perfection, but persistence. Fall wove us tighter. Joint sessions unpacking normal sly. His app hitting 10K users. My zine optioned for graphic novel. Thanksgiving. We hosted, tables groaning under fusion feast. Toasts to chosen families. Winter's hush brought news. Acceptance letter for foster training. Ready? He asked. Snow flaking lashes outside clinic. Stunned. But yes. Grin shared. Spring unfurled tentative. Home visits. Paperwork mountains. First placement a teen. Alexei. Skittish with scars, tested us raw. Nights of slammed doors. His doubts echoing mine once. Can we do this? I affirmed, holding through storms. Summer solstice. Poolside again, our backyard oasis. Floats bobbing lazy. Alexei cannonballed. Splash drenching us. Laughter triune. Kenneth surfaced. Arm around me. Whispering. Shocked forever. Grateful. Under sun. Water prismed. Love gleamed, dramatic. Deep. Defiantly ours. The years layered like sedimentary rock. Each stratum a testament to endurance. Fissures healed. Fossils of old fights embedded but inert. By our 5th anniversary, the house in German Village had scars of its own. Crayon murals from Alexei's phase. Now a lanky 16-year-old with ear gauges and a sketchpad rivaling mine. Foster turned forever via adoption papers inked last spring. Family, he'd mutter. Awkward hugs masking affection. But his eyes, once wary windows, now sparked with trust. Kenneth Zapp? Unicorn status. Acquired by a coastal giant for mid-7 figures. Letting him pivot to consulting. Queer spaces in straight worlds. Keynote ing at RE conferences from Miami to Seattle. Travel still tugged. But boundaries held. Weekends sacred. No Dallas detours. My career crested too. Graphic novel stunned hit NYT lists. Sequel in works. Tours packing queer lit fests where fans shared, your pool story saved my coming out. Betrayals? Echoes. Mostly Emily a Facebook ghost. Married twice over. Her cop ex outed in scandal. Irony's quiet justice. But conflict never retires. It evolves. Alexei's teen turbulence crested sophomore year. Schoolyard brawls over fag dads. His rebellion flaring in midnight drives and slam doors. You don't get it, he'd rage. Backpack slung like armor. Normal kids have moms. Not this. Kenneth and I tag-teamed. Him with stoic talks on the porch swing. Baseball glove in lap. Me with art therapy. Charcoals coaxing demons out. One storm-lashed night. Thunder rattling panes. Alexei bolted. Note scrawled. Need space. Sorry. Heart stop. We scoured streets till dawn. Finding him huddled at the river trail. Soaked and shivering. Can't I just be straight? He sobbed. My hoodie dwarfing his frame. Fit in. Kenneth knelt. Water pooling. Fitting in's a lie. Kid. We tried me hardest. Thought normal meant safe. But it's cage. Be you. We'll fight the bars. I pulled him close. Trio huddle against Gale. Love's not straight. It's us. He came home. Walls cracking slow. Therapy group for queer youth. His own sketches blooming bold. Pride that year. He marched frontline. Sign fostered by love. Our family float trailing confetti cannons. Climax revisited in subtler skins. Kenneth's 40th loomed. Milestone mocking with its mirror. Grays threading temples. Laugh lines etching deeper. A conference in LA, sun-soaked panels. Power lunches tempted old ghosts. He returned changed. Tan glowing. Stories of industry bros who get the hustle. A business card from a producer sniffing biopic rights for our tale. Big time. I teased over fusion tacos. But unease prickled, his distraction. Phone pings from collab contacts with peppy emojis. Then, the whisper. A late-night call. Voice low in hall. Yeah. Sounds great. Dinner tomorrow. Feminine timbre. Warm. Colleague. He swore later, married producer. Platonic pitch meet. But doubt's ember flared. My own betrayal scar itching. Confrontation brewed over anniversary weekend. Getaway to Hocking Hills. cabin nestled in hollows, fire pit crackling under stars. Wine loosened tongues, but tension simmered like stew. "Who's Elena?" I asked, casual as passing bread. Her name glimpsed in texts. He paused, fork midway. "Producer." "The biopic thing." "Why?" "The call." "The dinner." His brow furrowed. "Jealous again? After all this?" "Trusts earned daily," I countered, voice steady but pulse racing. "And you're glowing. Like Austin." He set down utensils, chair scraping pine. "Glowing? From work wins? Or because I'm finally seen not as the gay guy, but the guy?" Frustration edged. "You think every woman's a threat? I'm bi, Josh. Attracted to life. But I chose you. Daily." The word bi, once liberating, now weapon. Chose? Or settling? Midlife itch for normal redux. He stood, pacing planks. Settling? For the man who dove in with me? Fuck that. Voice rose, firelight dancing shadows. "Maybe you're projecting. Your art world's full of pretty admirers. But I don't grill you." Sting true. "Because I don't hide calls." "Hide," he whirled. "It's work. But yeah, maybe I do hide the fear that we're stagnating. Kids grown soon. Absolved, what's next? Another decade of same." The gut punch landed. Stagnant. Our love, reduced. Then go chase next. Elena's dinners. LA. Lights. Be the bi icon sans baggage. He froze. Anguish raw. Don't make me the villain again." "You're doing it," I whispered, tears pricking. "Doubting us." Silence stretched, broken by owl's call distant. Then he crossed, kneeling, echo of proposals past. "I'm scared, babe. Of fading. But not of you. Never." Hand extended, palm up. "Renew? Vows? Trip? Remind us why." I took it, pull into embrace. Sobs mingling with wind. Renewed. But talk. No hides. Dawn brought clarity. We scrapped LA. Plans. Booked Bali instead, honeymoon redux. Just us. Flights over Pacific. His head on shoulder. Whispers weaving futures. Foster more. Travel slow. Write our sequel together. Back home. Alexei sensed shift. "You two fighting again?" But we looped him in. Family therapy forging stronger alloy. Elena, boundaries set. Emails only. Dinners with me tagged. Summer waned. Pools closing. But ours stayed open, symbol stubborn. One golden afternoon, lounging with floats and floats of memories, Alexei splashed in. Girlfriend in tow, her first meet. Nerves electric. "They're cool," he assured her, our nods affirming. As sun dipped, Kenneth swam to me, arms bracketing, water lapping intimate. Shocked still, every day, kiss salted, deep. Fall harvested bounty. Biopic greenlit, us consultants, our story, raw and real. Alexei's art show, gallery walls alive with his family portraits. Us stylized, heroic. Winter solstice, firelit vows renewed. From stunned to eternal, rings kissed, promises etched. Spring bloomed verdant. New foster placement, a sibling pair, tiny whirlwinds testing but teaching grace. Kenneth's keynote at National Confab virtual. Family streamed, Drew standing O. Love's not plotline. His plot twists. And ours? Epic. Climax? Life's mosaic. No single peak, just ascents. One eve. Gorge hike. Anniversary trek. Thunder grumbled. But we pressed. Hands linked. At overlook. Vista sprawling. He stopped. Grateful. For the shock. I leaned in. Horizon halo. Me too. Human as hell. Summer full circle. Pool party redux. Neighborhood evolved. Flags rainbow tinged. Kids diverse. Alexei DJ'd. Tracks thumping unity. As cannonballs flew. Laughter choral. I watched Kenneth surface. Eyes locking mine. Stunned anew. Forever shocked. In that ripple. Story closed not with period. But ellipsis. To be continued. Loved. Lived. American dream. Queered and claimed.